Welcome back, guys, to Trails Through Daybreak 2, last episode. After a quick one-on-one basketball game, we finished the Langport Harbour sweep and continued into the first ward of the Eastern Quarter, chatting our way through the market and doing a bit of fishing before playing a game of 7 Hearts against Jack and Hal. With the sweep now complete, we take on the awaiting 4 SPG of the area. Right, so we have swept out now the entirety of this town, though we haven't maybe got everything or the goods. Everything has been done, which now leads us into quests aplenty. I will save because it's probably been a while since I last did. Yes, it's been several hours. Well, let's begin with this quest that we picked up in this district. Are you the Minho that sent out the 4 SPG request? I see you've got Haren with you too. Hi, Haren? Thank you for coming, Spriggan. Yes, I'm Minho with Red Star. And you've brought Aaron along. That's very encouraging. Oh yeah, man. With me on board, it's always smooth sailing. Anyway, what's this I hear about the Dragon Chariot going missing? It was over in the main plaza up till yesterday, wasn't it? Oh, it was the car with the stuff on the side. I have a question, actually. What exactly is a Dragon Chariot? Alright, I suppose if you're not from Langport, you probably wouldn't be too familiar with it. It's a yearly tradition, kind of a symbolic thing. Every year, the most influential people in Hayway invest large sums of mira into prepping a high-class luxury car to put on display. Then they show it off at the Lunar New Year festival to impress anyone with eyes. It's to make sure everyone knows how rich and powerful Hayway is. I hear in the old days they used to do it with boats and ox carts. Ever since Red Star came around, though, luxury orbital cars have been the staple. After the festival, it gets toured around to every location you can think of before eventually being auctioned off. Auctioned off? Then I suppose the Eastern Theatre serves as the auction house. That's correct. In fact, the Dragon Chariot was supposed to be brought into the theatre today. We were actually just having a meeting about it. Unfortunately, just as we were getting ready to proceed, it disappeared. If we don't do something, our company will be out of a huge investment, and that's not even to mention how much it will inconvenience our partners in Hayway. Is there any way we could enlist your services to help retrieve the Dragon Chariot? Well, what'd you say, old man? Well, let's see. Does it involve cars? Then Van says yes. Alright, we'll take the case. Hayway's not really in a place to deal with this right now, and I've had my fair share of experience with stuff like this. Besides, as a casual fan of orbital cars myself, I want to see whoever stole that beauty brought to justice. Casual fan, he says. Yeah, I'm a casual fan of Trails. But I'm with you. We can't just let some 2-bit thieves get away with something like this. I appreciate your support. To be honest, I was pretty worried you might not take the job. It's an incredibly expensive vehicle after all. If you don't manage to get it back, Red Star will be at a huge financial loss. This may not be relevant to the investigation, but exactly how much is the Dragon Chariot worth? Let's see, the chassis base is one of Red Star's more pricey models, the Nexus 3. And then you've got the embossing work from a first-class professional, the pure gold ornamental pieces, the gold outer coating. The manufacturing cost alone would be 30 million mira. Can we sell it ourselves when we find it? 30 million mira? I can't believe someone would pay so much for a single car. And when it comes time to auction, the highest bidding price usually goes well beyond the original value. There's no doubt the thieves would be able to make a rather significant profit from it. I imagine they mean to use the money to fund their criminal activities. From a risk management perspective, this case seems absolutely critical. Alright, first things first, I need you two to tell me all the details about how the car was being transported to the theatre. Any moments you can think of where the car could have been stolen? Yes, you see, the Red Star crew started moving it into the theatre around 5 hours ago. They finished about 4 hours ago, after which everyone decided to leave. Unfortunately, right around that time, there was one issue that cropped up. It prevented us from being able to keep a proper eye on the chariot. Oh, what happened? As soon as they started bringing the car in, the revenue service decided to show up for an audit. We were so busy dealing with them, there was no time for anything else. It seemed like it took forever too. The auditors only left a few minutes ago. An audit from the revenue service, huh? So that's how it all ties together. And right after Fan Lu just got arrested on false charges of tax evasion. Makes sense that other businessmen would start being suspected of fraud too. You gotta admit, the timing's pretty suspicious. Yes, it's hard to believe it's a coincidence. Either the criminal knew the revenue service's exact schedule, or perhaps I'm ashamed at our lack of vigilance, but because there were so many crew members on hand, we assumed everything would be fine. Perhaps some of them noticed something we didn't. Don't you think you should give them more clear instructions? You guys were the ones in charge, after all. Well, either way, it wouldn't be a bad idea to ask around inside the theater. We just need to take it slow and trace their path step by step. Let's get to it.
You have my support, Mr. Arkride.
30 million mirror, that's 3 times as much as Desire got last game. Oh, I don't know how they got that much money, though. Being a gangster must be pretty lucrative, right? Doing gang things. We prepare the Dragon Chariot every Lunar New Year festival. It acts as a symbol of Red Star's prestige. I really hope you're able to bring it back in one piece. I do hope you'll be able to bring the Dragon Chariot back safely. As manager of the theater, I can't help but feel responsible for all of this. It's because you are. Oh man, that blue marker just being on the corner of my... It's just like entering here, then. Like, and seeing the blue marker move down the minimap as I entered was just like... Did that just appear? No, it didn't just appear. It didn't just appear. Sup, Fuka? Sorry to bug you. Aaron? What can I do for you? Actually, those people with you, aren't they? Yeah, we just have a few questions we'd like to ask you. You heard about the Dragon Chariot being stolen, right? Yes, I have. In fact, I even gave them a bit of a hand when they were bringing it in. But I'm sorry, I really don't have any idea when it was taken. Even the smallest detail you can remember might help us. Did you notice if anything felt off at the time? I think I might have been a bit paranoid, but I guess there was one thing. About 3 hours ago, someone from Red Star came back to the theater with a big truck. I assumed it was just some additional servicing that needed to be done, but I was so busy at the time I wasn't able to pay them much attention. That certainly does sound strange. According to Minho, the crew started leaving the theater about 4 hours ago. Even if they had forgotten to take care of something, it would be unusual to send a single person without informing anyone beforehand. Minho had his hands full with the revenue service right after the actual Red Star crew left. That would have been the best time to get the car out without anyone noticing. Yeah, and I'm betting that Red Star guy she saw was a fake. If he played the part well enough, nobody would even blink an eye if he stole the car. I'm so sorry, if I'd paid more attention, this wouldn't have happened. That's not your fault, Fuka. Still, don't you think a truck big enough to haul the Dragon Chariot would stand out in a place like Langport? It'd take quite a while to find a place to hide it. Maybe someone involved in transporting goods might know something. Now that I think about it, that delivery guy, Anthony, runs mail all over Newtown. He's probably got a few contacts in the shipping industry. Wouldn't be surprised if he knows something. Let's get going then. That's weird. I don't remember talking to him. Right, this would be the way to Newtown. Oh, it still is. Doesn't ask us to walk. Nice. I was wondering if it would or not. Oh, you were standing still, that's why. What? You're not running at all. Get to work.
Let me ask you something.
You used to run about. Truck carrying heavy cargo, huh? Well, I mean, Langport is a harbour city. It's not really unusual to see trucks that big every now and then. But actually, now that I think about it, I do remember seeing a large Red Star truck headed for the harbour district around the time you mentioned. And you haven't noticed any changes in the area lately, have you? Any workers you haven't seen before, renting out storage space or boats? I can't say that I have. Oh, but maybe something jog your memory? Well, you remember that warehouse where there was a murder about half a year ago? After that happened, most people around here didn't want a thing to do with it. But just recently, one of my clients, a guy named Nihon, said his company decided to start renting it. But they stopped using it though. Was wondering if maybe something had happened. Oh, that warehouse. Guess it makes sense people would be avoiding the place. The fact that somebody wanted to rent it at all smells pretty fishy to me. It's also more than big enough to hide not just the car, but the truck carrying it too. Looks like the harbour's our only lead right now. Let's go see what we can find. Man, of all the places, why did it have to be there? I mean, we could enter it, but we couldn't enter it, you know what I mean? It was there as an open space. Ah. Yeah, that's a bit... Blue marker. Oh, I wonder what happened. Oh, you Nihon? We heard you're the guy that's renting this place out. Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with? We're in the middle of an investigation, and this warehouse came up as a spot of interest. We were told that you had to stop using this one in particular. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. My understanding is that they found some kind of issue related to last year's incident. Yesterday, someone from the security company that oversees the harbor showed up and said they'd be taking it over temporarily. And yet... Yet? Did something else happen? Well, I came by here just a minute ago to take a look, and it seems like somebody else has been making use of it. That shouldn't happen if the security company is keeping it under lock and key, though. That is pretty suspicious. I hate to ask, but would you mind letting us take a peek? That's fine. To be honest, I was just sitting here wondering whether I should take a look myself. If we could learn something from it, I don't see the harm. Ha! I knew it! I'm guessing that's not your company's truck, right? Definitely not. Who in the world brought this thing in here? What's that security company up to? Let's hope the Dragon Chariot is still in there. Having found a suspicious truck inside the warehouse, Van and the others quickly proceeded to check its cargo. Unfortunately, the delivery bed was completely empty. Well, that's about what I expected. This must have just been a temporary storage location for them along the way. They probably realized how likely it was for the police to check the warehouse. They picked this location as a decoy. Oh, those two guys chatting. They shipped it somewhere, right? I just attempted to access the server of the security firm that controls this area. However, there's no record of any new issues being found with this particular warehouse, nor is there record of them taking temporary custody over it. It seems likely that the security personnel that informed you of the supposed issue was an imposter. I can't believe they managed to pull one over on me with such a simple disguise. I feel so foolish. Oh, it kind of sounds like something's about him stood out to you. Well, you see, I couldn't help but notice his hair was a rather striking shade of green. Gave me a bit of a startle, honestly. Green hair, huh? That means he'll stand out in a crowd. At any rate, it looks like the thief brought the chariot to the harbor in this truck and then transferred it to some other vehicle. Whether it was another truck or a boat remains to be seen, though. Let's ask around and see if we can pick up their trail. Was it Mint? I think we know where we're going, right? Yeah. It was those two. Remembering about them chatting. I can't believe my warehouse was being used by criminals. I hope this doesn't lead to me being dragged into anything else. We're not allowed in there on foot, though, but there was a charging station in there. It's Melchior again. Yay! You mean? Not no. Yep, so here's you. You haven't got green hair, but it's your conversation topic. Made me suspicious. Be more careful about going forward. But there was some corrupt stuff going on here in the last game too. So we'll see. You weren't here before, were you? No, you were, weren't you? I wonder what all that hubbub this morning was about. And what did they want to use my boat for anyway? Seems like this guy works for a boat chartering service. If the culprits try to transport the Dragon Chariot by sea, then maybe...
Very well.
Got a question for you.
Suspicious heavy cargo, huh? No, I haven't taken on anything like that myself. Well, actually, it might not be related, but this morning someone I've never seen before came in to charter a boat. Oh yeah, mind telling us what they look like? What type of boat did they rent? Well, they were a man, a middle-aged Navy type with a little bit of a beard. I think he said he was an officer? No, a lieutenant colonel. I thought it was a bit odd for someone from the Navy to be renting a civilian boat, but I didn't really think much of it. I mean, we get all kinds. Still, it's not every day you see people renting an orbital sail with a small barge attached. An orbital sail? Those are vessels with orbital engines that propel them more easily than a regular sailboat. Those engines are only auxiliary, however, as they don't provide much in the way of horsepower. That being said, if the barge is small enough to carry a single vehicle, the engine may just be sufficient enough to tow it. This Navy guy sounds like he's our target. Did the boat already leave? Yes, I'd barely taken my eyes off them for a second before they were gone. Sounds like there's more going on here than I thought. Should I not have rented out the equipment? You've got nothing to worry about. Anyway, I think we've got a pretty good idea of the scale of this scheme now. Let's find a place where we can sort through everything we've learned so far. At least now we know the entire sequence of events. So to sum it up, we have people believed to be the culprits bringing a truck to the theatre, moving it to the warehouse, then renting a boat with a barge. At every location they were disguised to look like someone who could feasibly have business there. But we were given two descriptions, a young guy with green hair dressed like a security guard, and a middle-aged Navy officer. We don't know what the guy pretending to be a Red Star employee looked like. Do you think they were all different people in disguise? I've heard there's a phantom thief capable of mimicking the likeness of various people, by himself no less. Yeah, to be honest, I thought, like, when it's a very high item, like, good stuff. That Phantom Thief B might be interested in it, but 100% there would have been a calling card left, so it's like... Although we seem to be an isolated case, we should be careful not to discount the possibility that this is the work of a single individual. Nah, if it was him, he'd have left a calling card. Grimcat leaves calling cards. They want to be known. It's a game for B. That's true. But it's not. It's done by multiple people. We have a guy who's a lieutenant colonel who has a beard, but the guy didn't say a green beard. Then we've got another guy who has green hair. So if the beard was the most noticeable descriptor of the guy and it wasn't green hair. Plus, one person doing all of this seems a bit unlikely. Very much so. Loading the car would have been hard, wouldn't it? I've got a feeling we're dealing with multiple culprits here. I mean, if it really was just one guy, there wouldn't be any point in making it all so complicated, right? They were probably only handing off the car to one another in disguise, so they would be harder to track down. Makes sense to me. So who's behind it? You figured everything out already, haven't you? Well, the first people who come to mind are... the Mafia looking to get a hit on Hayaway, one of Red Star's rivals, a small group of amateur thieves. Well, it's not the Mafia. It's very unlikely to be Red Star's rivals. Just doesn't seem like a thing to actually even do. Like, why would you do that? Wouldn't you just make yourself your own gold car and auction that? Wouldn't that be, like, the correct corporate response? It'd be dumb to get yourself mired in some kind of, like, scandal such as that. Amateur thieves. I don't necessarily know if they're amateur, though. Well, I don't think it's Red Star's rivals, and I don't think it's the Mafia looking to get a hit on Hayaway. I'm thinking it might just be a small group of amateur thieves. If a bigger organization was involved, they would have put together a plan with a higher chance of success. They would have been way out, and it wouldn't be involving renting a boat from someone. That leaves a trail. These guys prepped the warehouse and boat right before committing the crime, which makes me think there wasn't a whole lot of brain power involved. I mean, regardless of speculation though, they did still manage to get away with it. I agree. Looking at their plan, it seems a bit rushed and simplistic. It was put together very haphazardly. They seem to have only succeeded by being well coordinated and light on their feet. I must say, it also seems unlikely that the visit from the revenue service had anything to do with them. Yeah, that was a little too convenient for my liking, but it's probably not as relevant as we thought. Let's go back over what we know about these guys again. They're capable of rudimentary disguise, trust each other, operate as a small unit, and work fast. You guys also remember a certain threesome that fit that bill? Oh! You mean those guys we dealt with in Farbad last year? Oh, okay. I was like, the people that are here were like poker guys. I was like, that's two of them. No? Okay. Oh, Farbad. Okay, that's related to them, is it? They were into like the car stuff, weren't they? Oh, the brothers. Yes. The Devonsey brothers. This incident certainly does seem to fit their MO. Yes, disguises, etc. I don't remember how they had green hair. They got out of jail pretty fast though, didn't they? Bloody hell. That's the guy with the beard. And according to a recent search, it seems they managed to break out of jail just a few weeks ago. Oh, they didn't get out of jail in that sense then. It's still unclear how they escaped, but it's likely they had outside assistance. Well, that settles that. All we've got to do now is hunt them down. Is the Devonsey dad there? You know where they went, don't you? Yeah, they must have taken the Dragon Chariot to They have a boat with an engine that can't take them far or tow far. There's 2 locations at sea that are nearby, which is that island or the place with the incredibly long name that is really stupid to go to if they did. An offshore smuggling vessel, Heilong Chengzai, or the Eroded Cave. Now, the Eroded Cave doesn't really have anywhere to store that, and it's absolutely monster full. Heilong Chengzai actually has a dock, a proper dock, where they could unload. An offshore smuggling vessel would be a nightmare to transfer the cargo over, wouldn't it? Unless it's on the back and they've got a crane and stuff. Okay, so an offshore smuggling vessel would be the absolute smartest thing for them to do. Which means they probably haven't done it because they don't have the circle. They don't have the manpower for that. Unless the person who broke them out of jail has that. I don't think they go to the Eroded Cave, simply put. So it's probably Heilong Chengzai. Because there was an actual dock, an actual way to get things off. There was technically buildings you could store it in. Except there were monsters in there. But were there only monsters in there because of the things going on? But now there's probably not again? They're probably laying low for a little bit before moving on, too. And more people go to the Eroded Cave. There's actually tourist stuff going to the Eroded Cave. But there's Heilong Chengzai is off limits. Alright, we're taking rid of that one because it's a smart thing. And I don't think they've got all of that. And we're taking off that because that would be super dumb. Not saying this isn't dumb, but it's more feasible than the Eroded Cave. Heilong Chengzai. Most people tend to keep their distance from the place, but it's just close enough to get to with an orbital sail. Shit, that's the last place I wanted to go. Makes sense, though. There's a reason Armada used it for their hideout. Practically screams, hey, hide your stolen shit here, dude. What do you think they're doing with it all the way over there? If they wanted to sell it off, they'd have to load it up again and take it somewhere else, wouldn't they? That's why I thought Heilong Chengzai gave off more of a stench than the Eroded Cave. Oh, this is literally all my reasoning. It's not easy to tell just by looking at a map, but on the east side of Heilong Chengzai, there's a small path that links back up to the main highway. Oh, I didn't know that. There is. I mean, the place was used for mining after all. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. They wouldn't have taken it all by boat. That's hard. For that weight. Makes sense that they'd have a few roads for transportation. Got to be long abandoned by now, though. If they disguise the Dragon Chariot somehow while they have it on Heilong Chengzai, they would have no issue taking it to land from there. That's pretty much the long and short of it, yeah. Damn, they sure picked a hell of a target right after getting out the slammer. Oh, what are we waiting for? Let's get our asses over to Heilong Chengzai. I'm not saying that right. Sure, over the eastern quarters wharf should be able to hook us up with a boat. Earned 2 SP. They were longer in jail than Rufus? Yeah. Did you like my deductive reasoning there? So there was literally information I wasn't partial to, which I would have liked to have, you know, had. I really would have liked to have had that information.
What are we waiting for?
That makes sense. But because I've never seen it, how would I necessarily know? You could maybe make a guess at that. But it is just, there's 2 locations nearby, and how are you going to hide and offload on the Eroded Cave when there are literally tourist trips there? Van and the others, in an effort to track down the Dragon Chariot, decided to once again travel to Heilong Chengzai. Soon thereafter... Whoa, look at that, guys! An orbital sail on a barge. I knew it! Oh man, you put it on that? That's a bit flimsy for carrying that, isn't it? I'd be like, oh, it's gone overboard. It would seem to be just as you surmised, Mr. Arkride. They probably haven't taken the chariot too far. I bet we'll find them pretty close by. Let's be careful going forward. Yes, sir, you got it. Understood. Yeah, they wouldn't have taken this far. But I'm a little bit worried about some kind of big demon monster. Oh, there's no fishing spot. Oh, it's just like Langport's a trading city, not manufacturing, so no way they transport all the ore by boat back to the city. There have to be roads. See, I couldn't go there without, like, seeing it is my thing, I guess. It's right there. Okay, questions, guys. So, I'm just going to point out, there is no ramp from there. You drove the 30 million mirror car up the steps. 3 flights of steps. Hey, nice work out there, brothers. If we manage to get this thing's bits and bobs on the black market, our mirror woes will be ancient history. Before you know it, we'll be out of Calvard and making a name for ourselves in a whole new part of the world. We could never have done it without your foolproof plans, big bro. Who else would have thought to get somebody to meddle with the revenue service? Nobody. That's who. Alright. That's enough praise for me. Besides, you guys played your parts to a T as well. I must say your disguises have gotten pretty convincing lately. Still, I think one of us really ought to consider changing his hair color next time. Hey, the hair's what makes me me. No way I'm getting rid of it anytime soon. Well, whatever. We should be proud of this one, boys. The bonds of brotherhood have secured us yet another victory. Let's say we crack open a bottle and have a toast. We deserve a little reward, don't you think? We can always just slip out the abandoned pathway tomorrow. Well, ain't that sweet? Brotherly love sure is a beautiful thing, right, Van? No doubt about that. And they even let us listen in on their little plan. Nice group of guys, I gotta say. Too bad that's about all the time you're gonna get to celebrate, though. Hope you losers are ready to be back behind bars. If your bonds run so deep, then why not put all that energy into something that actually helps others for once? I'm afraid we have you cornered, Devonsey brothers. Turn yourselves in and we promise to do you no harm. What are you doing here? Actually, haven't I seen you somewhere before? They're the guys that followed our plans back in Farbad. The Spriggan. Ah, why do you have to be you again? Hey, we're not all that thrilled to run into you crooks either. You boys are at the end of your rope. Speaking of rope, how about you stand still so we can tie you free up? What, you really think we're just gonna back down now? You meddled in our plans for the last time, Spriggan. You're toast. Don't go getting all cocky just because you took us down once before. We'll give you a real run for your money this time. You got it.
I'll take you on.
Destroy them! You're freaking dead!
Fine, let's play.
Here's a let's play, yes.
Do your worst! A boost would work here.
He damaged down this fairy.
I suggest we strike now. I'm going all in!
You can't let this stand, fairy.
Flames, give us strength! Here goes! It's the end of the line! You're finished! Ignis! Rampage! Boost gauge limit broken.
No need to be scared.
Fairy, you let them live.
You'll be sorry for that!
I mean, they're burning to death, but you let them live. I'm very disappointed in you. What's that about?
You think you won?
I mean, pretty much. I think that guy's gonna die from moving.
Slice and die! Seriously? Keep moving, Van!
God, I can't believe we lost to these bastards again. I swear on my soul this will be the last you hear of the Devonsey brothers. Yeah, we always bounce back. Just you wait until we get out of prison. You'll get what's coming to you eventually. You're gonna live to regret ever messing with us, Spriggan. Or maybe you guys could just learn your lesson and stop thieving already. You can act tough all you like, but that's about the least scary thing I've heard all week. Well, that takes care of these idiots. Now I'm just worried about the car. Is it okay? The front. Check the front. Would seem so. Nothing more than a few minor abrasions. I think we can return it to our client as is. At least the barge will make getting it back into Langport a bit easier. Right, let's bring it back to the theater. They didn't even put it in a container? Where's the container? Oh, what's wrong, Van? I'm just remembering something they mentioned earlier. Oh, like how you're gonna get any more out of me. You guys said something about getting somebody to meddle with the revenue service, didn't you? So the auditing was part of your little heist after all. Oh yeah. The timing was certainly suspect. Oh, is that all? Fine, if you want to know who our partner in crime is, I'll tell you. The truth is, I don't actually know their name. What? I thought you guys were all buddy-buddy. Here I was thinking you had connections to some big hotshot. Well, I guess I don't mind spilling a few secrets. See, we got word from someone using a pseudonym that they wanted to help us out. Their only condition was that we had to cause some kind of an uproar in Langport, and it had to be today. So I didn't even lay all the groundwork. Wow, you sure know how to pick 'em. Look at you using strangers to your advantage. Nice going, bro. What is with these guys? For real, you'd think they'd be more angry about the whole being used as pawns thing? So someone's been trying to stir things up in Langport. Bet it's whoever betrayed the Liu family. It'd make sense if they were the ones pulling the strings here too. Anyway, before we return the Dragon Chariot, we'd better decide what we're going to do with these guys. It would probably just put even more stress on Hayaway if we try to push them off on them. So let's try and come up with something else. Let's see. Who should we turn them over to? The guild? The police? The Marduk Company? I see the Marduk Company is probably the chaotic option this time. Guild is neutral, and the police is good. Let's give them to the guild this time. The guild might actually hold them. The police let them break out of blooming jail. The Marduk Company we know would actually use them in some way. Not only are they prison escapees, but they also stole from a business. If anything, we should probably hand them over to the police, but I'll be honest, I'm tempted to turn them over to the guild instead. Why do you say that? Not sure if we can trust the police right now. Exactly. We found Liu getting arrested. It's possible whoever set him up as a plant in the Langport Police Department. Even though we don't know for sure, it would be risky to trust him with these guys. That's true. In a worst case scenario, it's turning them in may be used against us. So just to be on the safe side, we should try our best to avoid the police for now. Even if the guild has some restrictions, it'd be a lot better than handing them over to someone who might actively try to hinder us. And so, thanks to Van and crew, the Devonsey brothers were captured once again. With the case now closed, the Dragon Chariot was soon returned to the theatre where it would await its new owner. Thank you so much for all you've done. I'm so glad we were able to get the chariot back in one piece. We don't need to worry about Red Star's reputation taking a plummet either. Yes, now that we have the car back, tonight's auction should be able to proceed as planned. Thank you all. I hope you know how truly grateful we are. It was no biggie. I just did what any fellow car lover would do. Don't you think it's time you got a new hobby, old man? I'm real glad it all worked out. I'm sure this car means a lot to the people of Langport. It does indeed. In times like these, that's all the more reason for us to upkeep the tradition. Hopefully it'll help to bring back a sense of normalcy. We'll make sure the reward is posted to your account right away. Thank you again for all you've done. Sure thing. It was no sweat. Just remember to keep your eyes peeled in the future, yeah? Don't want anyone getting the drop on you again.
That takes care of that.
Mirror deposit confirmed.
Give me my mirror. So that's going to add grey, which is still nowhere near leveling that up. Thor's halfway there.
I can barely contain myself.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm just so relieved to have the Dragon Chariot back. It seems as though the auction will be able to proceed on schedule after all. Let's get the final preparations taken care of immediately. I'm so glad you were able to get the Dragon Chariot back to us. We'll have to make sure this never happens again. Thank you again for everything you've done. It's on stage now.
Oh,
It is.
wow! It's back!
They're looking at it.
Gorgeous as I imagined.
I'm so glad the car's back. Did you guys help them find it or something? I can't even tell you how much this means to us. Just thinking about a beauty like that getting stripped for parts is enough to break our hearts.
Very well.
That's the Dragon Chariot. It's amazing. I can't believe we got to see them haul it in too. Look at it, Yaddis. Look at that sheen. God, I'd kill to put that car through its paces even just once. Why not actually run well? I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a fairly good car. Otherwise, they wouldn't be auctioning it, trying to sell it, would they? It's not the way things goes. Right, so with markers that will not be removed on the map, we go to the second ward next for our next quest.
Go, go, go!
Go, go, go! I gave them to Marduk too. So let me ask you, like, I ran really tried to keep everything balanced and it worked out last time, I guess.
What
Is the reason everyone was giving things to Marduk whenever they could, or going the Chaos route because the reward from Trails for Daybreak 1 for getting up to a certain rank? That is a goal, I guess. Something to bait you, something to tempt you to do it.